Let's do an AEW All Out pay-per-view recap here on the Wrestling Gazette Podcast, episode 794. Thanks for listening in. This is the King of Podcasts. Of course, you find the show initializing from kingofpodcasts.com, where you find the program. Click through to the link there, the icon, and go to all past episodes. You can find it there. Or if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, or look for it on YouTube. YouTube at King of Podcasts. You'll find all the past episodes there, going back to 2017, and then all the past episodes as going back to 2013, you can find on the website. If you go through for the audio, you can find all that there. So tonight's pay-per-view, all across the board, jam-packed. I don't know how they do it, but man, the momentum and the pickup of all these matches tonight was incredible. A very interesting choice to have the international title on the line in the main event, and Orange Cassidy headlining his first pay-per-view. But let me tell you, him and Jon Moxley threw down. That was an incredible match. Orange Cassidy is so over right now. It doesn't need a belt, as we know, but they have finalized the fact that they gave him a really long run with that IC title. And the international title now really does get a lot of recognition. That belt has been built up and made so strong. So with Jon Moxley winning this belt, it means a lot. The international title now means more than what the TNT title does. It's interesting to decide to go with that, but it makes sense to me because the international title, if Jon Moxley is going to work in New Japan or other promotions, then he can absolutely take that title with him and go wherever he wants. But if he's going to Japan, he could be carrying that belt, and he could be defending that belt overseas and wherever else he decide to go. So that's a pretty good thing right there. They did a great job tonight across the board of all the matches they had. Like, there was a lot going on. Even the 0 Hour had some really good matches going on. I missed the over Budget Charity Battle Royale, and Hangman Adam Page wins that, and they made it for where Adam Page would donate the money he made on the match towards the charity, which they made the point of that. A pretty good match with 6 women on the card. Hikaru Shida, Willow Nightingale, and Skye Blue over Athena, Mercedes Martinez, and Diamante. Actually, was a pretty well done match. And Skye Blue is improving quite a bit. Shida and Willow Nightingale obviously working really well together. It was a good, pretty well put together 6-woman tag, Acclaimed and Billy Gunn. So this was left off the main card. They put it here right before the start of the main card. Acclaimed and Billy Gunn over Jeff Jarrett, Satnam Singh, and Jay Lethal. They had Karen Jarrett get involved a bit. They got Dennis Rodman out there, who was on Collision on Saturday night. I didn't catch that, but I saw a little bit. I saw the highlights of Collision last night after everything else going on. And it was a short match, absolutely meant for the pre-show. Fine, that works, no problem right there. Into the main card, Better Than You, Baby. Quite a story to have MJ. By the way, we didn't see any Kingdom this time around. So no Roddy Strong, no Kingdom interference, nothing like that. They set up the part where MJF, the neck injury was still bothering him. They set up a couple things. So MJF goes backstage and is injured and walked off. Adam Cole goes 2-on-1. They set things up where MJF comes back out and finishes the match. And MJF and Adam Cole beat the Dark Order's Alex Reynolds and John Silver. If you haven't watched much of them, they're basically only on Ring of Honor. But, it's because of the Ring of Honor World Tag Team titles. Set up with that. And Adam Cole and MJF still stay strong. They're still together. They're in lockstep. And then we see what looks like MJF's next opponent. So, I guess Better Than You, Baby is going to continue to be what it is. That's not going away. We're not seeing any rift of that anytime yet. But it looks like we're going to probably get a little bit of respite from it, because it looks like we're going to get set up with Samoa Joe on his way out to his Ring of Honor World TV title match, and he bumps into MJF on purpose, and MJF takes the provocation. That's all you need right there to set up MJF and Samoa Joe and put the Triple B on the line, which is where I think they're going to go. And MJF needs to have a title defense. After Adam Cole, yeah, you could do that. And that works right there. And I think if they're one to set up something for Grand Slam, you put Samoa Joe right there and make him that opponent to go against MJF for the world title. I think you can set that up. And that's a good veteran opponent for MJF to kind of continue building up his run with the championship. I like that part. And then you could continue to go ahead and have Adam Cole and MJF still, running tag team titles. But then you also got to check the point about where MJF, how much of his injuries right now and the extra work he's putting out there, because, we've always seen him as the heel and not working many matches. And now he's working more than ever. And they're going to make that point. He's playing the babyface. He is getting hurt and he's getting banged up. He's doing with same thing where Orange Cassidy was. This whole run that he had before he dropped the belt tonight. It's a good story. And the MJF Adam Cole part, that's the part we want to continue to see where they're going to go with that. And where Roddy and the Kingdom come in and see where they're going to go. Because, eventually you have to see the Kingdom going after the Ring of Honor tag team titles while Samoa Joe goes after the world title. And I think that's where they're going to go with all that. And you lead it up to Dynamite Grand Slam. Now, the next match, let me tell you, they put some matches together that were really aggressive and physical and tough. Samoa Joe and Shane Taylor, I didn't realize it only went 6 minutes. It felt like 10 or 12. I really feel like we got a lot out of that match. But Samoa Joe and Shane Taylor debuting with AEW tonight in the Ring of Honor brand, looking fantastic out there. Listen, he was selling really good. He had good hits right there. They were, the reason him and Keith Lee were such a good tag team together, big heavyweight tag team, which Ring of Honor was actually really good at. Remember, when you have Keith Lee and Shane Taylor together as a tag team, and at the same time you had War Machine over there as well. Like they had some tag teams going on over there, and that was definitely one of those things. Ring of Honor at that time, like we're going back, 2015, 2014? They definitely had some pretty massive tag teams in action, and that was a pretty stacked roster over there, along with the Briscoes, right? Now, Samoa Joe retains. Luchasaurus retains in a really good match with Darby Allin, but what they did was Darby Allin was just getting destroyed. Darby Allin took a whole lot of hits, but would keep coming back. And, Christian Cage involved for the most part. Same thing here. And then the setup at the end of the match with Nick Wayne looking like he's going to get the concerto, and Christian Cage is giving him the ultimatum and, making him feel like he has to choose, and he has to, because he was ready to go ahead and splash on the Luchasaurus to win, but Darby had to go the other way around, and Luchasaurus still got the win in a very grueling match. Babyfaces tonight took a lot of blood. You could definitely see that in quite a few matches here. With Bryan Danielson, with Darby Allin, with Orange Cassidy. There's a lot of that going on tonight. Tell you what. Then you go to Miro and Powerhouse Hobbs. And the meat chants going wild. Miro is over again. People have missed him. That absence makes the heart grow fonder. Chicago loves seeing Miro out there, and they have set it up. So what I saw in that 15-minute match with Miro and Powerhouse Hobbs, number one, those guys were going at it, and they were doing a great job. Like, the crowd was so into it, really into the match. It was a really fun match to watch. I like the super heavyweights. So seeing Samoa Joe and Shane Taylor going at each other, it could have gone longer, and I would have been fine with that. And Miro and Powerhouse Hobbs, that was a great match. We finally got that going on. And Powerhouse Hobbs gets the heat back. And then they set up CJ Perry returning. The former Lana. So now Miro's wife is in the play. And he doesn't recognize her, doesn't see her as real. So they're going to play that story out. And CJ Perry looked great, as always. So now we're at this point. And so Miro is back to a really good status for him right now. So if they want to put him back into some title contention, they could get to that point. But Miro now gets to be one of the featured stars that's going to replace CM Punk. Now that CM Punk's off Collision, he's off altogether. The crowd really didn't care about CM Punk being there or not. You hear a chant of Crimea River being sung throughout the crowd at United Center. They were all into every match, by the way. Super hot crowd. Very much felt like an ECW crowd in some cases with some of the things that were going on. Really good stuff. But that was a great match. Chris Statlander definitely going through another evolving of her character. And Ruby Soho, great. A really fun match with these two. They put a lot out there too. And Chris Statlander dealing with Saraya at the same time, flashing the women's world title. And I just thought, well, they could very well go ahead and put the Outcast with a couple of belts. And let me tell you, when we see the end of that match and Toni Storm coming out from underneath the ring and disrupting Ruby Soho throughout with the spray can being taken out of her hands, which would have been the ultimate neutralizer for Ruby Soho to win. Toni Storm and this new, like, screen siren kind of character, this movie star kind of, status. Like, I get this, like, this Betty Davis. I'm trying to think of some other names. I would think some other ones, but I would also date myself, so I'm going to just hold it right there. Yeah, you're trying to go for, like, this screen actress kind of thing, and she's like this, lost it. And now the Outcasts are definitely kind of split apart. And now Toni Storm's got to deal with things when it comes to Ruby Soho and Saraya, which I'm enjoying that too. Bryan Danielson coming back. Wonderful to see him here. And I really didn't put everything together on Dynamite when they had Ricky the Dragon Steamboat coming out with a contract, and they made sure to show that it was Ricky Starks versus the Dragon in the strap match, but it didn't tell you which dragon it was. And I don't know, I guess I was a little bit late mentally to go and think about, like, oh, that dragon, got it. They made it more sense when they showed the promo leading up to the match, which was very good. Ricky Starks, very much a heel, very much cocky and going along the strap, man. I'll say Ricky Starks took some serious hits with the strap. Danielson getting hit up quite a bit, but like I said, Danielson was taking a lot of defense and was getting pummeled and bloodied up. And then it turns around, and then Bryan Danielson just becomes Bryan Danielson, and a hell of a match. Ricky Starks loses 16 minutes, 40 seconds in the no DQ strap match, but a very good match. Another good one with Eddie Kingston and Katsuyori Shibata. They're telling the story about Shibata coming back after all the adversities that he had being injured. And Castagnoli, Yuta looking awesome. Willow Yuta, gotta tell you, man, when it comes to make sure you gotta sell when you get in the submission for so long, how about selling the ankle a little bit, huh? Because he just kept bouncing right back up. But Castagnoli and Eddie Kingston, yeah, I'm all in for that. That's a feud we got to keep more of. We got some taste of it, which was good. Very good stuff tonight. Konosuke Takeshita with Don Callis. What a match. Another barn burner of a match. And Omega looking like he's had a Wrestle Kingdom out here. Him and Takeshita working really great together. And I hope this feud can continue as long as it wants. I'm enjoying it very much. And Don Callis, what a catalyst right here. Takeshita with such... We already knew how good of a wrestler he was. But there is something to be said about where Don Callis is really going to make a difference for Takeshita now. And the build up for that guy. And I won't be surprised if New Japan tries to sweep him up at some point. It really looks like that. And then you get Bullet Club Gold, NFTR and the Young Bucks. Also a damn good match. The Guns incorporated the Bullet Club Gold. Excellent. And then Jay White and Juice Robinson having their matches, to having the hour long with FTR. Like, all these tag teams are just wonderful to watch. Putting them all together here. Young Bucks kind of being late to the dance when it came to helping out FTR to where they lost the match. And you see the friction right there leading up to their next rubber match for the tag team titles, where FTR and Young Bucks will face each other again. Eventually, we're going to get to that at some point. And like I said, Jon Moxley, Orange Cassidy, pinfall. What a night, man. Crazy. Now, I love the whole pay-per-view. A pay-per-view. Really, it's a grade A. It really nailed it. Everything I was looking for in it. And I'll admit, it was really fun to go ahead and watch all that was going on watching from the movie theater tonight was really good. I must say that too. I enjoyed that a lot too. So overall, I enjoyed the night. Now, one thing I didn't get to do after all said and done, I did not get the chance to watch MLW Fury Road, which I will get a chance to watch soon enough, but it's just too much else what's going on to catch. But what I will say is we'll go through the results real quick. Ricky Shane Page becomes a new MLW National Openweight Champion, but the calling came in and got involved, which made things change. What great news I just heard about. I just saw this as well. Selena De La Renta is coming back to Major League Wrestling. The Bruja's back. I love it. This is wonderful news. So I'm going to have to talk about this eventually and praise the fact that Court Barrow is able to bring her back. I can't wait. Becca will now get a chance to go after Domi Exo and the Women's Featherweight Championship. She beat Maki Ito. Matt Cardona wins the Kiss My Foot match over Mance Warner. Ichiban over Tracy Williams. Kushida over Tony Deppen. And Alex Kane retains over Willie Mack and retains and stays the MLW World Heavyweight Champion. So I just got to catch the show. Just hadn't had time. MLW, man, at 6 o'clock time on Sunday with another pay-per-view. Please, let's work it around somewhere else. Like, I know why you had to do it, but man, it just didn't work. But then again, what are you going to do? Because you got, Saturday pay-per-view with WWE and AEW. Like, there's just not much room for all the other ones. So what can you do? So that's going to be all for tonight. Much more of the fallout coming out of Payback, coming out of All Out, all that and more. We'll talk about that coming up here on the next Wrestling Goes Real podcast, because wrestling needs us.